What's up everybody, Matthew Monis here and welcome to the top 3 smartphones of 2017 so far. So this is for today, July 28th. Doesn't account for any phones that are coming out in the near future. The phones that I've reviewed, that I've used, and I feel very comfortable recommending to you guys. Let's start off with the first one, and that goes to the Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. Now, I'll be honest, this is not my personal favorite, but I still feel it's number one because it hits a lot of the marks that people want on a smartphone. It has a top-of-the-line camera. It has the best design on the market with its beautiful curved edges. The performance is fantastic. Very shocked there's none of that Samsung lag that I've experienced on previous devices. And the display is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the brightest, most vibrant displays I've ever used on a smartphone. Plus, it comes with all the bells and whistles. So you get wireless charging, fast charging, and water resistance. It's available everywhere. Every single carrier here in Canada and the United States carries the smartphone, making it very easy to get your hands on. Now, for those of you that love to get accessories for your phone, out of all the Android smartphones out there, the most accessories are made for the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. You can find different cases, you can find battery mods, there's tons of things you can choose from out there. Now, some of the bad things about this phone. The first thing is the battery life on the regular Galaxy S8. It's not that great. You're probably gonna find yourself charging midday. The S8 Plus, on the other hand, has fantastic battery life. You can easily get up to a day and a half. On top of that, I don't like the fingerprint scanner placement. I know this has been beaten to death, but I have to mention it again for those of you out there who are planning to buy this phone. Now, I know you'll get used to it after a couple of weeks, but try this. Use this phone for a couple of weeks, then switch to a regular phone which has it on the front or lower on the back. I promise you, your fingers are gonna have multiple orgasms. And last up is the edged screen. It's beautiful to look at, but I still find it impractical. I just wish they put a flat screen on top of it. So for number 2, it's the Google Pixel and the Google Pixel XL. Now, this is the second choice, but it's personally my favorite out of all the Android smartphones on the market right now. I know it's from last year. I know the design is boring, even for 2016 standards. Yes, there's no wireless charging, there's no fast charging, there's no micro SD card, or even water resistance. But it has one of the best cameras on a smartphone. I'm sometimes shocked how well of a job this camera does when I take pictures. Also, the video is really good. It doesn't have optical image stabilization, but Google's version of EIS does such a fantastic job that the footage always looks stable. The battery's life is good, and most importantly, it's by far one of the smoothest phones that you can use on the market right now. So for number 3, it's actually a tie between two phones, the OnePlus 5 and the LG G6. These are the best phones you can get for the money. So here's the difference between both of these phones, and I actually did a great comparison on it, which I'll link in the description down below. The OnePlus 5 offers some of the best specs out there, and the result is an insanely fast phone that feels just as fast, or if not faster, than the Google Pixel XL. So it has good battery life, a decent display, and the software experience is clean. So no bloat, very stock-like, kind of similar to the Google Pixel, with a few of OnePlus's tweaks. But there are some downsides to this phone. Cameras are not as great as they made them out to be, so not gonna be better than any of these phones on the table, but they're good enough for most people who take pictures and just want a good shot. Now, the difference between these two phones is that the OnePlus has a second lens that zooms up to 1.6 or 2 times, whereas the G6 has a second lens that takes more of a landscape shot or a wider shot. Now, OnePlus has also had some issues. There's been a bunch of software issues like not being able to dial 911, some sort of jello effect, and there's also the problem that they cheated on benchmarks. I personally don't care about that. Who cares about benchmarks? And I feel they've done a good job of patching these issues as soon as possible. So if that bothers you, then you always have the LG G6, which is gonna offer you a better design, easier to hold in the hand, wireless charging, water resistant. You're gonna get a much better display, and of course, like I mentioned before, a better camera. The only downfalls to the G6, in my opinion, is I don't find it to be nearly as snappy as the OnePlus 5, and LG's UI is kind of hard to look at. So that wraps up my top 3 smartphones of 2017 so far. I do want to give an honorable mention to the iPhone 7 Plus. I still think it's a fantastic smartphone. The only reason I haven't placed it in the top 3 is because I find that Apple's hardware has kind of fallen behind. So that wraps up my top 3. I know the iPhone 8's coming out soon. I know the Note 8's coming out soon as well, so that's going to change in the near future. But I want to hear your top 3 smartphones for today, July 28th, or whenever this video is released, in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.